Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach, and today I am driving a 2006 Jeep Commander. Up front is a 3.7 liter V6, and down below is a 5-speed automatic transmission. Now, I am super excited to be driving this Jeep Commander for two reasons. First of all, I haven't driven a Commander before. I used to see these all the time growing up. They're becoming harder and harder to find on the road. The second reason is the fact that Jeep hasn't really had that successful of a 3-row SUV in their lifetime. Sure, the Grand Cherokees with their 3-row do well, but the Wagoneer hasn't done that well. The Commander didn't do all that well. And so we're going to dive into why that might be in this SUV crazy market. But if you would like to submit your own vehicle and have it reviewed here on the channel, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. And if you'd like to see all my videos weeks or sometimes months in advance, you can head on over to my Patreon for only $5 a month. Last but not least, huge thank you to North Naperville Autos for letting me borrow their Jeep Commander for today's video. You can browse their inventory down in the description below. But let's get back to that 3.7 liter V6. Well, that was actually the smallest engine offered here in the Commander. At the base model, which this is, you could get the 3.7 liter V6 or you could get a V8. They actually offered two different V8s for the Commander. This was the smallest engine, only available on the base model, and you could option the V8 on the base model, so not even all base models had this engine. It's fine. Does the job, it moves it forward. However, I could see how a V8 would be a lot more desirable in a big vehicle like this. Like I said, paired to it is a 5-speed automatic. It's doing a decent job, no complaints, no notes. And last but not least, it is 4-wheel drive. However, it is auto-selected, I guess we'll say. This was Jeep's automatic 4-wheel drive system. They used a couple different 4-wheel drive systems in the Commander. This was just the basic one. And there's no lever, there's no buttons for 4-wheel. It decides when it needs it. So take that as you will. How does it feel to drive the Jeep Commander? How hardcore is it? It's not. It's kind of floaty. It's kind of luxurious. It's not very hardcore what you think of Jeep. When I think of driving a Jeep, I think about getting dizzy. I think about my fillings rattling out of my teeth and my spine bending and twisting. But driving this, it actually drives more like a Chrysler. It kind of has a boaty, floaty way about it. Going back and forth here with the suspension, you know, it's like I'm at an Outkast concert. That's not how Jeeps normally drive. Normally, Jeeps drive. No, this is actually comfortable. What the fuck is happening? My head is turned upside down. I don't understand it, but that's how it drives. Visibility, it's okay. The A-pillars are pretty thick, so you do have a relatively big blind spot. And like I said, that suspension's smooth, steering's smooth. What is going on? Is it opposite day? Did I miss a memo or something? I don't know. With that stuff out of the way though, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have 4 gauges. Off to the left is my fuel and speedometer, and off to the right is my tachometer and coolant temperature. Nice, clean, easy, simple. On the steering wheel, on the left, we have our cruise control, as well as off to the right, we have cruise control. So, fitted to the steering wheel. Again, you get this sort of bolted on looking Jeep badge, but in all reality, it should be stitched on with fine thread and leather. Off to the left, we have 2 climate vents. Again, they look like they're riveted on there, but you know, they're not. You do get a little shelf that's very helpful. And moving on to the door, we have the power mirrors, power locks, and power windows. Moving into the center, we do get the traditional Jeep radio, CD player, nothing really too notable here. But again, we have 4 climate vents around the radio and 2 more over by the passenger. They look like they're bolted on. They're supposed to look military. They're supposed to look utilitarian. And yet the driving feel does not reflect that. Down below, we do have some buttons for our information center, as well as climate controls, fan speed off to the left, temperature in the center, where to send it off to the right, traction control and parking sensors off, cigarette lighter and 12-volt outlet, as well as some cubby space, and the shifter. The shifter is a jigsaw style shifter. It's not really anything too crazy to note. Really reminds me of the Wranglers of the era, and a little cubby off to the right of that. Then we do have cup holders, so we will do a big friggin' bottle test here in the Jeep Commander. And unfortunately, it fails, but kind of predictably. We do get a center console with a cargo net and coin holders. Very utilitarian in there. The seats are so comfortable. The foam that they used is so cushy, so cozy. You really, really feel like you're on your grandmother's couch. You sink into it. I need some Matagot, and I need the Chicago Bears on the TV, and we have the trifecta. That's how comfortable these seats are. And again, Jeeps in the past, Jeeps that I've driven, even modern Jeeps, do not have comfortable seats. These are delectable. Absolutely love that. However, speaking of seats, the claim to fame of the Commander was that it is the 3-row SUV, so let's hop back there and do some backseat reviews. All right, second row of the Jeep Commander, and holy crap, I found where they put the hard seats right here. These seats are incredibly hard. Okay, the center seat is pretty cushy. The outer seats are harder. Very weird distinction. Knees are hitting the seat in front of me. Head is not hitting the ceiling, so we do have a pretty high ceiling. We do have 2 climate vents down here. We do get a middle seat. However, we can fold it out and pop out some cup holders in there. So decent amenities back here. Rather bare bones besides that, but not the end of the world. We do have grab handles. Well, and that's pretty much it. Now, I am very curious about the third row. So let's see how we could get back there, because I don't think it's going to be pretty. All right, lever here. Okay. Does it go forward? I feel a latch for it, but it doesn't want to be latching. All right, I guess we'll just go this way. Oh, wow. Okay. Well, it's not graceful getting back here, but once I am back here, there's more room than I expected. My head's now hitting the ceiling. It's not very comfortable. However, it is manageable. I could sit back here. There we go. I'm now back here, and it works. I have 2 climate vents on either side and my own climate controls. Ooh, that is set to hot, and it is a hot day. There we go. I don't know if you could hear, I just turned the fan on. Maybe see it in my hair. Turn that back off. This is a 3-row Jeep. Jeep has had 3 rows, then not had 3 rows, then had 3 rows and not had 3 rows. So here it is. They never made a 3-row Wrangler. I know some companies have like upfitted Wranglers that have 3 rows for like scenic tours and things like that, but no factory Wrangler has had 3 rows. So if you want a 3-row Jeep in 2006, this was your option, and it's one. I don't like it back here. I'm getting a little claustrophobic, so I'm going to get out of here. But we do have a trunk to look at, so let's hop back there and do a trunk review. I hope you're hungry for nothing. Yeah, you don't get a whole lot of space back here when the 3rd row is up. So don't worry. Not only do you have a terribly spaced 3rd row, you also don't get any storage because of it. You get this big hump thing. Oh, some tools and whatnot down there, but that's pretty much it. Of course, you can put these seats down. On the wall, there's that. Push and push. And there you go. Now you do have plenty of space. If I owned the Commander, I would leave them down all the time. You have these little ropes that you could pull to bring them back up. Pretty nice. But again, if you do have them up, don't anticipate taking all of the kids and any sort of luggage. There you go. Now we gotta talk about the looks, and I could take or leave it. I do like how it does look kind of big and brawny in a very 2000s way, obviously. This was built to sort of mimic the Jeep Patriot and look like a sibling to that and the Liberty, and I could see how the family ties were pretty strong there. This is a Liberty, and you can see it just kind of looks like an extended version of that. So I do like it. I like the sort of dusty desert storm color. I think it looks very Jeep. I think it looks very macho. But let's get into my final thoughts, because as macho as it looks, as many rivets and bolts they put on the dash to try to tell you that you're in a hardcore off-roader, congratulations, you're really in just a Chrysler Aspen with a goatee. This thing is comfortable, it is smooth, and that is just not what the Jeep brand is about. So this car becomes an identity crisis, and when I say that, this car isn't sure what it is. Did that lead to bad sales? Yeah, kind of. However, you don't go to the used car lot or the showroom floor and you don't look at a car and go, it's unsure of itself, I don't want to buy it. It happens subconsciously. Driving this, when I want a Jeep, I want that hardcore bare knuckle experience. And this looks the part. Look at it. It looks like it's about to get dropped out of a helicopter to help Bravo team with suppressing fire. But the driving experience isn't that. It's cozy. It's a warm blanket on a cold, rainy morning. It's curling up with a good book. The exterior's a Tarantino film. The ride quality is bluey. And so that ends up creating a very mishmash, very awkward automobile. Because if you're going to try to sell it as one thing, there's always going to be half of it that isn't going to fulfill what that buyer wants. If the buyer wanted a comfy, cozy 3-row SUV, it doesn't look that way, and it doesn't look that expensive. However, if you want those rugged looks and that off-road prowess that Jeep was so known for, you get behind the wheel and you think you're piloting a wet piece of bread. So no matter what, 50% of the customer base, 50% of the people that Jeep was trying to target wouldn't like this vehicle. So that's why it only lasted from here, 2006, until 2010. A relatively short time in the automotive world, a blip, if you will. I like it. I like the Commander, and I'm very happily surprised at how well it drives. I really thought that this was going to be a smear piece or a defacing campaign for the Commander, but no. I actually am leaving this video kind of liking it, but I understand why it didn't sell well. If you try to please everybody, you're going to end up pleasing nobody. And that's all I have to say today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to North Naperville Autos for letting me borrow their Commander for today's video. They are absolutely awesome. They ship to 48 states. They are Carfax certified, as well as they offer mobile detailing. So they are truly your one-stop shop for automotive things in the Chicago suburbs. So huge thank you to North Naperville Autos. You can find their info down in the description below. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. All right, apparently has a backup beeper. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.